They say that good help is hard to find. And that's never been more true in the case of Donald Trump's attempts to overturn the results of the election. Following the departure of Trump's representation in Pennsylvania, where the president's legal team was trying to focus on throwing out enough ballots on the premise of massive voter fraud, which doesn't exist, Trump has hired new representation, a man named Mark Scaringi, to push forward his case. So now the only issue, of course, is that Scarini already knows there's no chance for Trump to win his legal challenge, again, because he has no proof of voter fraud. And he had actually said as much during a podcast on November 7th. So let me, why don't you guys take a listen?
Including Fox News, announced that Joe Biden has won Pennsylvania and Nevada and has now won the presidency. Joe Biden, according to the media, will be the 46th president of the United States of America. Now, I've been saying since Wednesday morning that Biden would win, and to my friends out there in the WHP 580 listening audience and on Facebook and Twitter, in my opinion, there really are no bombshells that are about to drop that will derail a Biden presidency, including these lawsuits. And I really don't want to get into a discussion on any of these pending lawsuits filed by the Trump campaign or the state GOPs. And I will say that some of them have merit, certainly like the lawsuits filed by our Pennsylvania Republican Party, led by our great chairman, Lawrence Tabus. Several of the other lawsuits don't seem to have much evidence of substantiating their claims. And at the end of the day, in my view, the litigation will not work. It will not reverse this election.
It will not reverse this election. It's not going to work. Sad. Oops. Again, that is Donald Trump's new lawyer in Pennsylvania, who posted and then, of course, deleted a post that referred to Biden as president-elect and the 46th president. So, look, he's out there saying, or he was out there saying, yeah, Biden won. There's no evidence of voter fraud. Most of these lawsuits are garbage. They're not going to work. And so Biden basically won. So now he gets hired. And so he's like, backtrack, delete. Media Matters, of course, made sure to archive that. So he can delete it all he wants. It still exists. You can't really get rid of anything on the internet anyway. And so the question is, then why, if he truly believes this, then why would he represent Donald Trump? Well, now here's my theory, right? And it's not really complicated. These people aren't necessarily stupid. They know that there's no evidence to back up Donald Trump. They know that there's no way that Donald Trump can overturn the election. But they represent him anyway because guess what? They want to get paid. Again, I told you it's not really all that complicated. And they'll go through and they'll be like, oh, we've got we're going to try to make our legal arguments and, we're going to argue in front of a judge that we should throw out some ballots. Maybe they'll win a couple on maybe some technicalities, tiered ballots, for example, where you can maybe throw out 50 to 100, ballots that maybe were improperly sealed or something like that. But at the end of the day, you're not overturning the election. And you could say, yay, look at that. We found some improper ballots. And then that's it. Again, they're not stupid, right? The lawyers aren't stupid. But they do know that Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is massively stupid. And so you also have Trump and some of his most demented followers. They're the only people that actually believe that these lawsuits have any sort of a chance. And so from what I've read and heard, Donald Trump has been switching. He's been vacillating between accepting the reality of the situation, saying, oh, fuck, I lost. Great. And then believing that, no, I can sue my way into the presidency. I can get this stuff overturned. Fox News says I can do it, so I can do it. That is absolutely mental. I don't think it's going to work. Over the weekend, you had 9 different lawsuits that were dismissed because there, again, was no evidence. A lot of the evidence that presented was mostly just hearsay. There was a Post-it note. And now you just had a lawsuit in Wisconsin that was dropped yesterday. HuffPost reports that 3 people in Wisconsin have withdrawn their own lawsuit that sought to overturn President-elect Joe Biden's win in the state. According to the AP, an attorney for the plaintiffs declined to say why the lawsuit had been dropped, probably because of no evidence, just minutes before oral arguments were set to begin. The lawsuit had sought to exclude election ballots in Milwaukee, Dane, and Menominee counties, the AP reported. All 3, of course, went strongly for President-elect Joe Biden, who defeated Trump by about 20,500 votes in the state. So, again, they had no evidence of voter fraud. And when you say, hey, I want you to throw out 20,000 ballots or however many, right, to overturn this election, I'm going to be like, okay, well, why? What's the reasoning? Oh, we think that there's massive voter fraud. Really? Over 20,000 votes. I don't know if they were specifically trying to make that exact case to throw out exactly that amount of ballots, but they're certainly trying to make sure that they don't certify the state elections. And so, I mean, it stands to reason that they're trying to do everything they can to try to, overturn these results so that Donald Trump just squeaks barely by with 270. I mean, that's what they're trying to do. But they have no evidence to do that. And even more hilarious, the state of Wisconsin is considering charging Donald Trump up front for a recount that he has asked for. So he's asking for a recount, and Wisconsin's like, we know your track record. We might want to charge you up front. The Associated Press reported also on Monday that the state will ask for about $8 million to recount the ballots where, again, Trump lost by over 20,000 votes. The price tag, they said, is 4 times higher than the recount would have cost 4 years ago, a cost increase that election officials said was driven by expenses related to conducting a recount during a coronavirus pandemic. They say that Trump needs to come up with the money and pay for it by 5 p.m. Wednesday at the latest. Is that going to happen? Nope. Very, very unlikely. You think Donald Trump is going to come up with $8 million? Maybe he'll bilk his donors into doing it. I mean, they've been sending out some pretty strong emails. But, at the same time, I don't think it's going to really lead to a whole lot. You're not going to have a recount that is effective. And Donald Trump, again, depending on his mood, may or may not, pay for it. Certainly wouldn't pay for it, up front. And that's the other thing, right? Now, before I get to that, Wisconsin election chief official Megan Wolf said, we have still not received any indication that there will or will not be a recount, but we want Wisconsin voters to know that we're ready. We're ready. Now, again, if Trump's lawyers were smart at all, then they would ask for the money up front, which there's a story, coincidentally, that came out where that's exactly what Rudy Giuliani was doing. Again, President McCheapass is known for stiffing people, and not in the Stormy Daniels kind of way. He still owes the state of Wisconsin, for example, $2 million for campaign security costs. He's like, I'm not going to pay that. Well, you have to. You used our security. We pay, we you owe us that money. And he says, no, I'm not going to pay it. No, that's Secret Service. They pay. No, it's a campaign event. That means you pay for that. Your campaign does. Yeah. Overall, though, the point is, there's no case, there's no evidence, and it is interesting to see these lawyers, unless they got paid up front, which maybe we'll find out. No reason to represent Trump whatsoever unless they get paid up front. Because if you're one of those people, if you're like, oh yeah, no, I'll take on the case. Oh no, don't worry about paying me up front. That's fine. You can pay me afterwards. Then you are the dumbest person alive, and you do not know Donald Trump. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel. by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.